Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I wanted to talk about Alpha 3.8 and getting ready for the first wave of PTU, new ships that are going on sale, a statement on EVOCATI links, some 3.8 content plans, even Boneworks in VR, and talking a little bit about VR as well. Alpha 3.8 is likely to go to first wave PTU very soon. That should allow subscribers and concierge to get involved in the testing, but more importantly for general content and videos from the patch to not be locked behind an NDA. We will start seeing proper videos of it and proper commentary and lots of features and that sort of stuff, and more feedback from the community at large rather than just the EVOCATI testers. 3.8 will then move on to a wider PTU, giving access to even more players and then eventually going live. And 3.8 is expected to go live on or before the 21st of December currently, though that could change because, you know, it's iterative and that's more sort of like just based on what CIG have said roughly, that they want to get the 3.8 live build out as early as possible, because obviously they want to get some triage in it and bug fixes before they go off on holiday. There should be a flyable ship sale with 3.8, but it's a little bit more complicated than normal as some of the 3.8 ships have been delayed, with the Cutlass Red coming January 2020, the Carrack February, and the Prowler March. Those ships are still unfinished, and the devs have responded to community feedback on the Carrack, saying that they are still working on the ship. There may be some changes before it's released in February, and they are taking feedback on board, but the Carrack we saw at CitizenCon was unfinished, so bear that in mind. They are going to be getting it out in February 2020, at least that's the plan, and expect to see some changes because the ship wasn't done. So it's possible we could see the Carrack, the Cutlass Red, and Prowler all go on sale with 3.8 live, or they might just hold them back until those ships are actually individually available and do sales for them as and when they come into game. And we're not sure if they're going to be immediately available in-game to buy it with in-game money, but we'll have to wait and see. We pretty much know that there are some new ships going to be going on sale as well. I say pretty much no because it's not confirmed by CIG, some of these things. There's been a few teasers, there's been a few factoids thrown around. So let's start with the Crusader Ares. That's expected to go on sale on the 12th of December, and people keep asking me to go over what we know about the ship. It's spelled Ares, A-R-E-S, as in God of War, rather than the star sign. The current rumours are that it's a medium or heavy fighter with a lot of armour or some form of damage mitigation with its shields. People have suggested its additional Crusader tag is that of Star Hunter, though I heard Starfighter at CitizenCon, though in this context it's pretty much the same thing, or I could have had Starfighter because it's a fighter from Crusader Industries. So we'll have to wait and see. Expect something that complements the Crusader lineup of ships, potentially an escort, but it might not be. I mean, people have said, well, maybe the Star Hunter implies a bounty hunter ship, and that also makes sense with the current climate of the game moving towards some more bounty hunter gameplay soon. Is it going to be straight to flyable? I think that's possible. I think it's possible it's going to be straight to flyable with 3.8. It would have gone on sale at CitizenCon or the Anniversary Expo. Otherwise, in my opinion, if it was just a concept, that said, it might not have been ready to go on concept sale then. We will find out pretty soon anyway. We don't have pricing on the ship yet either, and we don't have a confirmation really of what it is. The Argo Mole. So this is a 4-crew mining ship that has 3 individually operable mining turrets. This ship is straight to flyable in 3.8. The lasers are size 2 mining heads, which are more powerful and longer range than the Prospector. It has the same type of saddlebags that the Prospector has, but it does have twice the cargo capacity, so I think it's got 8 of those cargo pods that can be detached. Eventually will be able to be detached and picked up later. There is 1 mining laser at the bottom front of the ship with a controller cab there, and there's also a mining laser on each side of the ship as well. I'm not 100% sure if those lasers can be remote operated, the 2 side ones, from the top cab, or if they have a manable cockpit for each of those side lasers. Sort of like from the pictures, it's hard to tell. It does potentially look like they have their own little turret room that you can enter, and then they're treated like a turret or their own little cab, a little seat there. But also, that would then suggest that the top front cab of the ship, where there are 2 seats, are for the pilot and co-pilot. And that would mean that this sort of ship has 5 stations rather than 4, because you have the 3 mining lasers, then the pilot and the co-pilot, That's 5, not 4. And maybe it's only got sort of like life support for 4. We'll have to wait and see. I'm just sort of like telling you what I can see there. I would expect the mole to become a loaner ship for the Orion, for people that have bought that giant mining ship. You'll be able to change the mining lasers to complement each other as well. There's going to be a load of new mining laser opportunities here with lots of different gear that you can sort of like change your lasers for. You can work on the same node together, and if you've got the right sort of like mining lasers, then that makes sense, because some are gonna sort of like make rocks easier to mine, and some are gonna allow you to do like burst mining to finish it off quickly and that sort of stuff. You can also sort of like mine separate nodes if your ship is positioned in the correct place, but you should have a good amount of sort of like range with the mining arms and the lasers there, so you're not just sort of like, well, I can't see any mining nodes. You should have some movement there. I would potentially expect the mole to go on sale on the 12th as well, with that Ares Starfighter, or whatever it is, the Crusader Ares. But if it didn't go on sale on the 12th, then I would expect it to go on sale when 3.8 goes live, seeing the ship is flyable with 3.8 live. Pricing-wise, there is no confirmation here either, but I'm guessing around $300 for basically what the ship is. $50 either side of that is probably reasonable. We'll have to wait and see, though. EVOCATI leaks. So every major patch, we get a load of EVOCATI leaks. So EVOCATI are locked behind an NDA and shouldn't really be leaking, but take all leaks with a pinch of salt when it comes to EVOCATI leaks, because obviously there's going to be loads of bugs and stuff, and some of the stuff that EVOCATI might test might not make it into the live build, or when you see EVOCATI sort of like leaks and stuff, it could be that only fractions of the playable mechanic are actually implemented, and they sort of like add more and more and more and more going on. So especially with data mined information, actually. So whether that be EVOCATI or not, we don't know when data mined information will be in the game, and there's lots of little bits that you can data mine that can imply things, but they might be for the dev branch, they might just be for testing, they might be for the next major release, sort of like, or a couple of patches down. So if you've heard something, you're like, oh, this sounds like it's going to be in 3.8, might be in 3.9, might be in 4.0, might be in the dev branch for testing and never make it into the game. I will cover appropriate leaks, but I can't cover EVOCATI leaks, as I'm an EVOCATI member, and I have an NDA basically saying that I can't talk about the specifics of an EVOCATI patch, nor record videos and content from inside that EVOCATI patch. Once 3.8 or a major patch goes live, though, we're onto the PTU, anyway, wider PTU. If there's anything that can be data mined from there, then I probably will cover it. And I'll make sure that there's spoiler tags in videos if it's sort of like something that I would consider spoiling, or other people would consider spoiling content for others. Do you know what I mean? So I think that I will cover leaks to an extent, but not EVOCATI leaks, and I'll make sure that that's very aware of the video that there's going to have a leak in it, and if it does, then I'll probably make the whole video about those leaks. Does that seem reasonable? That seems fair, right? I am a Star Citizen sort of news and coverage channel, so I do want to cover everything where possible. And yeah, I would love to be able to cover the EVOCATI leaks. I know that that causes a lot of contention in the community, with people thinking, well, these people shouldn't be able to cover them. No, you're right. The EVOCATI shouldn't leak out that information in the first place. Totally agree with that. So I'm in two minds about it, but fortunately, I don't have to worry about it because I am in EVOCATI and I don't cover the leaks. I am preparing for some Star Citizen Alpha 3.8 content as well, for both PTU and live. So I'm going to be covering patch notes, state of the game eventually once we have 3.8 live, any new missions, any new features, new locations. I'll be exploring the planet and moon changes with the V4 Planet deck. We'll be doing ship tours. We'll do a quick start guide as well, obviously, update my tutorial potentially if there's enough changes to stuff that would warrant that. I'll do a quick 3.8 meta guide this time, because I want to start getting into a little bit of meta, and sort of, because the way Star Citizen works, there's certainly meta for fighters, but then there's going to be builds and loadouts and suggestions that are going to be based on the roles you want to do. So if you're going to be doing trade all the time, or cargo all the time, what's the best quantum drive and systems to fit in your Caterpillar, or doesn't it matter? That sort of stuff. So I want to do a little meta guide and a little role guide as well. So yeah, maybe a video on each of the roles that you can do in game and how to do them, and then how to sort of like min-max them as well, very roughly. I also want to start a new series called Bug Hard, which will look at bugs that are persisting, that we've had for ages, or that I think need to get fixed quick, that sort of thing. Gameplay-wise, with 3.8, I would, with the live build, like to get people on my Discord together to try do some mining together, running some of the new multiplayer missions together, try and like run the 890 jump hijack mission, see how the law system group sort of treats a large group of maxed out criminals, see how smart the AI are in a prolonged battle, things like that. Want to be able to mess around and organize some stuff, see how the sort of like counter missions work when we have people recording and playing from both sides. A lot of this stuff I'll probably be doing with Salty Mike as well. We want to start doing some gameplay series like that, very much so. But I would like to get a couple of gameplay videos out a week, potentially, sort of like covering what a patch has to offer gameplay-wise with other content creators and orgs. And I'd also like to get some more gameplay on stream around Christmas for 3.8 as well, so just streaming a bit more. I'm really excited about prison gameplay, actually, though that's coming in 3.9. Even in its first iteration, I think the gameplay sounds amazingly fun. People keep on asking me as well, what's the likelihood that we will see other capital ships in-game, even if they're just NPC controlled? It's sort of like in the persistent universe. And I certainly think that's possible in the near future, but I think it's much more likely for 3.9 onwards than 3.8, just because they've got server-side object container streaming in its first iteration in 3.8, which would suggest to me they probably want to tweak that before doing anything crazy with big ships and putting them in the game for missions. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I am currently playing through Boneworks VR. For those of you that don't know, I have a Valve Index, and it was my most anticipated VR title before they announced the date for Half-Life Alyx. So then it got pushed onto my second most anticipated, because I'm really looking forward to Half-Life Alyx. It is a game mostly made with the Valve Index Knuckles controllers in mind, and it gives you an extremely tactile experience. It's sort of like Portal physics puzzle type gameplay. I am going to be playing through it multiple times, and I'm likely to stream it at some point as well. It's one of those sort of like new gen of VR games that also makes me think that VR is starting to deliver on being awesome, and it makes me very happy that Star Citizen doesn't have VR integration yet, because new tech and new hardware, new software is needed to really get VR into a mainstream place and to be working really well for the sort of like fidelity that Star Citizen wants anyway. That said, I think we will see VR for Star Citizen at some point, probably well after Vulkan integration. In many years would be my expectation for VR integration properly, and almost certainly for Squadron 42 before the persistent universe as well. With VR, the tactile grabbing of things really helps it to be immersive, and you'd need to have that in the game, and how do you balance that with people that aren't doing that on mouse and keyboard? So for the persistent universe, it's a little bit harder to do, in my opinion. I am going to be voting as well in the UK elections tomorrow, so I'm not sure how that's going to affect my videos. I'm not sure what time I'm going to be doing that. Typically, I like to stay up all night and watch the results come in, so I might be otherwise incapacitated through grape juice and other delicious foods and drinks. Anyway, what do you think? Is it the Ares Starfighter, or is it the Star Hunter, or neither? Is it not going to be called either? Is it just going to be the Crusader Ares? Are you thinking of picking up a Mole or Ares with real money, or potentially in-game if they're available with 3.8 live? Are you excited?
Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway for December, and to celebrate 2019,
I would love
we
to
are
hear
giving
from you
away
in
a
the
Carrack,
comments
the
below.
mighty explorer ship. It does also come with that Pisces and the Urza Rover 2. To be in for a chance of winning that, all you need to do is comment on any of my videos made during this month of December. Only one of your comments counts per video. Full details down below.
A quick bit of shilling as well. Shadow provide remote access to high-spec gaming PCs as a subscription service, so you don't need to maintain your own gaming PC. You can leverage the power of your internet to turn your phone, tablet, laptop, or home PC into a monster. They are taking pre-orders for their new hardware configurations, scaling for 4K gaming, up to 32 gigs of RAM, and a GeForce Titan RTX, which I am very much looking forward to playing Star Citizen on. Links below, and use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. There is also an additional offer if you are in the US as well, that you get basically 50% off, and you can even use my BoredGamer code on top of that as well for additional discount. I also use NordVPN, which I've decided to continue to support, as they appear to have one of the best VPN services currently available at an affordable price. If you're looking for a VPN, consider them. Links below. Thank you so much for watching my video to the end. If you would like to share my video, comment, subscribe, like, all that sort of jazz, ring the bell, that all helps content creators. Also, if you want to further support the channel even more, there's Patreon, there's direct donation, there's the YouTube join button as well, which gives you access to some more sort of like exclusive content from me. Thank you very much for watching, you take care, and I'll see you in the verse.